think my roommate did something horrible, and I have proof. I've never been really close with my roommate. I'm going to call him Devin. Devin is very messy and talkative. He lives on the first floor, I live on the second of a house, and the only reason why I have to see him is because the bathroom and the kitchen are also on the first floor. So whenever I go down there and he hears me, he tries to talk to me, and I might sound like a jerk, but honestly, he's really annoying, and I really don't like him. So I should have been glad when the other day he suddenly stopped talking to me, but because of what happened, it's more just unnerving. The other day, I was in the living room on the couch working on something, and Devin wasn't home at that point, but eventually I heard the door turn, and I said, Jesus Christ, because I knew it was him. And I also knew that it doesn't matter if I'm working on something. If I have 2 earbuds in, he'll still try and start a conversation, complain about work, or show me something on his phone. So when he came in, I kind of just did a little wave, and I said, "Hi, Devin." But he didn't say anything back. He didn't even look at me, really. He closed the door, he stumbled forward a little bit, and then he went into the bathroom, but he didn't close the door. He just opened it and kind of looked around for a couple of seconds, and then he stepped back and closed the door and kept walking. Then he opened the basement door, and he did the exact same thing. He took a step in, looked around, and then he slowly stepped back out, closed the door, kept walking to the right, and then he opened his bedroom door, and he looked around for a good bit longer, and eventually he closed the door behind him and went in. Those 3 doors are all in a row, right next to each other. And I don't know if he had just gotten home from work, but it was the middle of the day, and I don't know, he just seemed so confused, like he didn't really know where he was or something. I didn't see him for the rest of the day after that, which was really rare, because usually when I'm downstairs, I'll try and be quiet so he doesn't hear me and start trying to talk to me. But later that day, I was making dinner, and he never came out, which I was happy for. So I finished up, I ate, and I started walking up to my room from the kitchen. His bedroom door is right by the kitchen, and as I walked by it, I started hearing this weird sound. It sounded like someone was talking, and obviously it was coming from his room. I figured out a second later, but I didn't put my ear up to the door or anything. I could kind of just faintly hear it. It was a sound of someone babbling, like blah blah la la shamaka. And then he started, it was really weird, he started saying phrases. He said, "Excuse me, thank you." And then he said, "Are you okay?" And then he said, "Hi, Devin." He said that one a couple of times. Here we go. "Hi, Devin. Hi, Devin." It really freaked me out. And Devin has always been a little weird, but I just rushed upstairs and tried to go to sleep. And then I didn't see him for another 3 days. But he was always there. His car was still parked in the driveway, so I had to assume he was there the whole time. And during this period, maybe on the second day, I started hearing this faint sound, and it sounded like it was coming from my walls or somewhere in the house. It was a faint scratching sound. Sometimes it would be like a thump, thump, thump. It was only a couple of minutes, but it was late at night when I was trying to go to sleep, or sometimes it would wake me up, and I actually was able to catch a small video of it. I don't know if you're able to hear anything, but I'll play it now. On the third night, the sounds really started to irritate me, and I was just weirded out. So I decided to drive over to my girlfriend's place and just spend the night there. When I came back in the morning to grab some stuff for my classes, his car was gone. So I was so relieved. I thought, finally, I'll have a day to myself. So I went to campus, and when I came back, his car still wasn't there. So I was like, thank God. But later that night, You can lock me up for this, okay? It's not the worst thing in the world, but I have a window in my room. When it's really cold outside, sometimes I'll just light a joint in my room, blow it out the window. Nobody's ever smelt it, okay? I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I have a really good view of the driveway and the garage from my window. And I saw that his car was back. And that's not all I saw. What I saw was Devin dragging a bag from his car across the ground towards some trees behind our garage. And I got a picture of it. I don't know what was in it. I don't know what he was doing. But I couldn't leave because he was doing who knows what behind the garage. So I just made sure my door was locked, and I tried to go to sleep. And I left early in the morning. I went to class and then to my girlfriend's house and stuff. Eventually, after kind of talking myself into it, I had to go back at some point. It's my own house, and I didn't know what he was doing. I don't know. I store stuff in the garage all the time. That's what I was thinking. Sure, he's been a little weird, but I didn't actually see him doing anything that couldn't be explained. So eventually I come back, and the kitchen where I was trying to get to is kind of like from the entryway, like a right turn and then a left turn. So you can't see the kitchen from the doorway. When I got in there, I saw him. When I came into view of the kitchen, initially his back was turned to me, and he was just staring off into space. But I guess he heard my footsteps, so he turned around, and he looked directly at me, and he was completely naked. And I just froze. And then he pulled out a full-grown carrot, some coconut oil, dipped the carrot in the oil, and shoved the whole thing up his ass. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Anyways, happy 40 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much for the support, and let me know if you like this video. Okay, I thought I'd tell you a scary story, and yeah, I hope you like that one, and please subscribe. Love you guys.